We'll officially start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you put your hands over your heart, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I now declare this meeting for May the 29th, 2019. What am I saying?
2019.
Yeah, 2019, duly open. We'll start right off with the agenda with item number B, approval of regular session minutes of 5/22/2019. Board, I know you've seen these minutes and had an opportunity to review them and comment. Do I have a motion for approval?
I move that we approve the minutes of May 22nd.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call, Judy.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. We'll move to item C. We have a proclamation today for designation of Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Clermont County. I understand that Debbie Hines and Laura Newberry are here today to accept this proclamation. If you can come up to the podium. Morning.
Good morning.
Give a chance for everybody to get around here. A proclamation for Elder Abuse Day in Clermont County, June the 15th, 2019. Whereas Clermont County's more than 30,000 older adults will increase in number by 120% between 2010 and 2020 and deserve to live safely with dignity. And whereas with the increase of the elder population, abuse to adults aged 60 and older has become more prevalent in our communities. And whereas elder adults of all socioeconomic, racial, and ethnic backgrounds may be targets of abuse, neglect, or exploitation which occurs in families, long-term care facilities, and communities. And whereas in 2018, there were 446 reported allegations of abuse, neglect, or exploitation of elder adults in Clermont County. And whereas protecting Clermont County's elder adults is a community responsibility, and it is imperative that communities work together to help reduce and prevent abuse, neglect, and exploitation. And whereas Clermont County Senior Services serves as an advocate for the elderly and encourages all citizens to join us in lifting up our voices to recognize and prevent neglect or exploitation of elder adults. Now therefore let it be proclaimed that we, the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim June the 15th as Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Clermont County, and it's signed by David Painter, President, Edwin H. Humphrey, Vice President, and Claire B. Corcoran, member of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners. On behalf of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, please accept this proclamation as Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
You bet. A few words?
Just a couple.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Hi, I'm Debbie Hines, Clermont Senior Services, Adult Protective Services. This is Laura Newberry. Both of us are APS investigators. Protecting the seniors here in Clermont County is something that we are honored to do. You heard the statistics. Elder abuse awareness has increased, and I think that is a good thing. Our job is a little bit busier as referrals for elder abuse have more than doubled this past year. But we thank you for your interest and support of our seniors in Clermont County.
Thank you. And if you take a picture with us, please.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Come on out here with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you got one too? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks. You bet. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. We'll move to item D. I understand we have a presentation for Clermont County Annual Report Office of Public Information, Kathleen Williams.
Well, good morning, Commissioners.
Morning. Morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Kathleen Williams with the Office of Public Information, and I promise I won't take too long, but I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about our multimedia annual report for 2018, which actually we made live in early April, but I'm kind of glad that I'm waiting a little bit to present it because I've got some analysis from Facebook that shows the kinds of audience it's had, so I think that'll be helpful. So this was a team effort, and included me and David Scheiben-Zuber and Robert Frost, our former webmaster, who did a fabulous job of pulling together the just the look and the feel of this whole annual report. And David took care of all of our videos. This is the second year we've done a multimedia annual report, and we think it's very effective because people like to get information online, and almost all the information here is in bite-sized forms or videos. We also do have a trifold that we prepared to accompany this, and we have distributed this to a number of county offices and also to some local jurisdictions, township offices, city and villages. It was also distributed at the Chamber's Economic Forecast Breakfast. So it ties into the annual report with a look at a monthly milestone and some of our financials and a letter from the commissioners, and it has a very visual, as in visually as well. So we have a combination of really beautiful pictures that show the county at its best, videos from our three commissioners. They each spoke about a topic that was interesting to them or relevant. Commissioner Painter spoke about economic development in Clermont County and some of the strides we've made in the last year. And Commissioner Humphrey spoke about some of the technology advances at our 911 center. And Commissioner Corcoran spoke about the importance of volunteering and some of the agencies that can use volunteers, especially DD, and also some of the boards and committees that people can volunteer for. So I'll just play, let's go to the commissioner's page. Come on. Okay, don't fail me now.
Just go to the arrow.
It's coming up.
Okay. Okay, let's hit play.
Hello, I'm Commissioner David Payne.
And let's see.
I was born right here in Clermont County, and I grew up here in Clermont County. My wife and I raised our family here. This is our home, and we love it. Our county's grown a lot over the years, as more people have discovered that Clermont County is a wonderful place to live and work. But a lot of those people commute out of our county to work. As commissioners, we want to bring more jobs to our county. We want people who live here to also work here. We want businesses that are located here to grow. At the same time, we want to make sure that when companies are scouting out new locations, that they consider Clermont County. This year, Design Within Reach, which is brand new to Clermont County, will open up its immense 617,000 square foot furniture distribution facility at South Afton Industrial Park. Design Within Reach will employ about 85 people, and we're thrilled that Design Within Reach chose South Afton. And we're excited that several other prospects are actively looking at the South Afton Industrial Park.
I'm just going to play a little bit from each of the commissioners. Let's see. So how do I get back out? I'm sorry that I don't want to share it. I want to go back to our. David, do you know how to get back to the main? Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. And Commissioner Humphrey.
Hello, I'm Ed Humphrey, Clermont County Commissioner. I've always been a champion of technology advances that can help us do a better job for everyone who lives in Clermont County. Today I'd like to talk to you about a recent advance in technology for cell phone calls to our 911 system, one that will impact many of our residents. Cell phone calls are important because they represent about 80% of all calls to 911. In January, the Department of Public Safety Services, which oversees the 911 system, upgraded our 911 system to allow what is called Rapid SOS. Previous 911 calls made from cell phones had to be triangulated through cell phone towers to provide the approximate location for first responders. This took time and was only approximate. Now on most carriers, with new cell phone software, iOS 12 Plus for iPhone or 4 Plus for Android, when you call 911, the Rapid SOS system can pinpoint your location using the GPS on the phone. Dispatchers can now tell responders exactly where you are. This will speed up the response to you and get you help you need more quickly. Please consult with your cell phone provider to confirm that Rapid SOS works for you. This new system also provides dispatchers with the ability to see calls on a map and answer.
All right, and then just watch Commissioner Corcoran for a minute.
Hello, I am Commissioner Claire Corcoran, and I am the newest commissioner in Clermont County. And I am thrilled that the citizens of Clermont County have given me the opportunity to serve them. Today, I want to talk about something that is important to me, and that is volunteering. There are so many wonderful nonprofits, agencies, and boards in Clermont County that need volunteers, and they will provide the proper training. Two county agencies in particular are very special to me: the Board of Developmental Disabilities and Senior Services. Volunteers make a huge difference at the DD Board, which serves 2,000 clients currently. In a typical year, DD has as many as 250 volunteers. They serve in a variety of roles, and they help out at dances and picnics. They teach arts and crafts. They provide respite for caregivers. If you have a willing heart, DD.
This just gives you an idea of what each of the commissioners spoke about. The other segment that we did is called Milestones, and that basically took a look at events throughout the year in the county that, oh, my apologies, I'm just not used to this particular, let's go back to, come on. All right, we'll scroll down here. I am not sure why that's not coming up. Okay, so this took a look at events throughout the year that either were significant to the county, events that, initiatives that the county undertook, or agencies that did things with the county and that sort of thing. Now, we are having some issues today with our web server, so I don't know if this is causing a little bit of this. Pardon?
Could be the weather.
Yeah. So anyway, each of these, you can't, this is corrupted unfortunately, but there's a photo that goes with each of these. So as you would click on the photo, you would see the text underlying. So in January, we began a new vendor, the Clermont Animal Care Humane Society, that took over management of our animal shelter. So we just went kind of month by month. Now I know 2018 seems like a long time ago because it was, but in January, Commissioner Humphrey was elected president. New resource officers were hired at the schools that worked for the deputy for the sheriff's office. So we just kind of went month by month. I'm sorry that the photos aren't showing, but they're great. And we looked at things, and it wasn't just necessarily county government activity. We also looked at things that were happening throughout the county that were of significance. So for example, new library branch, the big new library branch, and the new headquarters of the Clermont County Public Library opened in March. And in April, we had the spring litter cleanup. The DD levy passes in May, which was very important to them. Well, some of these photos are showing finally. So we had a records break. We broke ground for the new records center. Geo Woodstock, which is a CVB event, was a big success in this area. So that kind of thing. We just shared information about the county and also about county government activities that we thought were pretty significant. And this way, you know, people can just scroll through it and see them, and it's very easy to access and digest. And the other thing this allowed us to do was at the end of the year, kind of put in some end of the year numbers. So for example, and I see our friends from the Board of Election are here, I got numbers on the general election. The turnout was very high last November. In December, we were able to put up numbers about the total number of ribbon cuttings that the chamber held throughout the year. The community toy chest, how many gifts were distributed and how many children were affected by that. Total number of adoptions and foster care numbers from Clermont Animal Care, as well as children adoptions, I should say that in November. Child support numbers, how much they collected, how many arrests patrol deputies made, what kind of number of building permits we had throughout the year. So that gave us a way to kind of, you know, put in some numbers from the year. And then we ended with January with Commissioner Corcoran taking office and Commissioner Painter being elected president. So sorry again on the photos, but I thought it's a very easy way to scroll through. The last thing I wanted to mention is that we did a series of what we called Working For You videos. And these are employees from throughout the county or county agencies that we just want to kind of give a behind-the-scenes sense of who some of these employees are and how they're making a difference. Because basically, when you get down to it, county government, so much of how services are received by the public depends on the individuals working in these frontline jobs. So for example, this is Alyssa Rooks, and she's a naturalist.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Rooks. I'm a naturalist for the Clermont County Park District. I have been a naturalist for the Park District for about 2 years now in November, and I'm standing in front of the East Fork Little Miami River here at beautiful Sycamore Park. This is just one of several river accesses that we have at our parks. As a naturalist, my main job is to educate the public about things in nature, whether it's plants, animals, water quality, or fossils. Our job is to get them out here and build connections with nature so that they can learn to love and appreciate, and then the hope would be to protect and preserve. My job is making a difference to Clermont County because I am able to market and reach out to folks to let them know, hey, these things are here at your parks, right in your own backyard. You can come by and see all of these things in nature taking place, and you don't have to drive across the state or across the country.
So that's just a sample, but we had to get permission from supervisors, and I'm really happy to say that so many department heads or elected officials said that's fine and gave us the names of people that they wanted to be, that they were happy to be interviewed. So we spoke to Jay Kahn, who's a technician at Soil and Water. Carrie McCune is a supervisor at one of the waste treatment plants in Clermont County. Lisa Steinmetz works in the treasurer's office. Marcia works in the recorder's office. Renee works at the county jail on a special program. Tara is the county or public health epidemiologist. Taylor Corbett is a planner in our economic development department, and Tiffany works for Ohio Means Jobs. So these were just a really nice cross-section of employees talking about their jobs and, you know, why they enjoy what they do and what their interactions with the public are like, and just to allow the public a little bit of, you know, who this person is that you may see. So we promoted this on Facebook and Twitter and Nextdoor, and we had it on our, of course it's been on our website and in our April newsletter. And so I primarily pulled results from Facebook because that's our most, it's our social media site with the most interaction. So we had about 45,000 impressions from the this itself, and then we broke up the various videos and we put them up separately. So this included a reach of 28,000 people. That means the total number of people who saw the content. And 1,552 engagements, which is the most important measurement. That's people who clicked the link, liked it, commented on it, or shared it. And the videos had a total of 2,230 minutes watched. So I think that shows that there were some pretty decent numbers associated with this in the last month and a half. And it's there for us to share, to tell the county story whenever we want. And it was a really fun project to work on, and I was very happy with the end product. So thank you very much.
So we were very happy with the end product.
Thank you.
And I know we won an award last year for.
We did. So we may enter this one as well, but I think, you know, more than, it is nice to win an award, but it's just such a visually.
Well, it shows that other
engaging.
people
Yes,
feel that
yes,
it's an outstanding.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. So we were very pleased with that. But I think it also gives, it does give us a way to sort of show, put the county better forward.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. No other presentations this morning? No. That's it? Okay, we'll move to item E, public participation. We've reached the public participation section of the agenda. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the board, anyone here from the public that would like to address the board, we'd be welcome to have you. Seeing none, I'll close the public participation portion of the meeting and move on to the consent agenda. Board, there's a consent agenda that's been prepared for you. I know you've had it since Friday to take a look at and review. Are there any items that we need to remove from the consent agenda for further evaluation or discussion?
None.
Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes. We'll move to item G for the non-consent agenda, which starts on page 5. Item number 10, Board of County Commissioners Resolution. Recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 089-19, resolving to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $1,408,253.32 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice reports for checks dated May 29, 2019, and BCC directed prepaid invoices report presented by the county auditor on 5/28, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for the same pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion for approval to pay the bills?
So moved.
A second.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call, Judy?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Item number 11.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sherry Smart, Community and Economic Development. I have a recommendation of Andy Kutka, Director, Department of Community and Economic Development, with concurrence of Suki Sheets, Assistant County Administrator, to authorize the withdrawal of retainage in the principal amount of $9,390.20 plus any accrued interest earned thereon from People's Bank, and to make payable to the Clermont County Treasurer, which represents all remaining funds held in retainage pursuant to a contract by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and JD Contracting Services, located at Cook Ridge Road, Brooksville, Kentucky. This contract was previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on November 4th, 2015, and subsequently amended on July 13th, 2016 for project number 2014-04, relative to the Village of Felicity Walnut Street Reconstruction Project in concert with the Clermont County Community Development Block Grant Allocation Program for fiscal year 2014, inasmuch as the aforestated contractor notified the county on May 3rd, 2017 of his inability to complete the reference project, and for which all of the above forestated has been consented to by the surety and is in concert with the settlement agreements and release of claims with Choice One Engineering and American Contractors Indemnity Company previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on March 7th, 2019.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Sherry, I understand this is the one that we've finally gotten resolved as far as the surety taking care of a settlement for
Yes.
what wasn't completed.
And then the retention, once it's released, will be grouped with those funds, and then corrections will be made in Felicity to finally complete that project.
Okay. Thank you. Any other conversation or discussion?
No.
Roll call, Judy.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Humphrey.
Aye.
Painter.
Yes. Thanks, Sherry. Item number 12.
I have a recommendation of Andy Kuka, Director, Department of Community and Economic Development, with the concurrence of Suki Sheets, Assistant County Administrator, to execute change order number 2 to the contract with Smith Construction, located in Fayetteville, Ohio, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on October 4th, 2017, and subsequently amended on May 23rd, 2018 for project number 2016-03, relative to the Village of Owensville Cross Street Reconstruction Project, in concert with the Clermont County Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal year 2016. This represents a decrease in the amount of $7,661.36 for a total adjusted contract price to date of $140,840.30. This is for additions, deletions, and modifications.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. Item number 13. Thank you, Sherry. Morning.
Agenda item number 13 is a recommendation from myself, Wade Grabowski, Director of Clermont County Facilities Management, with the concurrence of Mr. Thomas J. Igle, County Administrator, to approve and authorize Wade Grabowski to sign for and on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, number 1, a gas main extension agreement, number 273-36799, and number 2, 7 service agreements for installing new gas service, and 3 readiness checklists with Duke Energy, Ohio, in as it relates to the installation of new underground natural gas service at 7 locations identified in the offer status service agreements, through the extension of the existing gas main at Filliger and East Filliger Roads, located in the village of Batavia, distance of approximately 2,500 feet, all of which is included in the parcel identification number 060224.009, and is identified on draft drawing number 273-36799, and more commonly referred to as the Clermont County Filliger Campus Natural Gas Project, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein. As many of you know, we have several buildings on the Filliger campus. The backmost buildings never had natural gas. They worked off of LP and or electric. What's directly affected by these, the 7 buildings, are the service center, the fleet garage, the sign shop for the engineers maintenance shop, the new storage, the proposed new storage facility. I'm sorry, that one's done. The proposal is the sheriff's training facility. Storage building is already done. And the biggest recipient, if you've seen some of the statistics, is the animal shelter. They run about $2,000 worth of LP a month. Because everything is LP. So one thing I wanted to add too is we have several capital projects that are on that campus. We've already instituted conversion kits from LP to natural gas, so the HVAC systems will be converted immediately once this goes in. And speaking with Duke, they're talking about within 60 days starting this project, 0 cost to the county, about a $240,000 estimated cost to Duke Energy to install this natural gas.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. Item number 14. Thank you, Wade.
Item number 14 is a recommendation of Judy Eschman with the concurrence of Tom Igle to reappoint Monica Royal Fisher to serve on the Area 12 Workforce Investment Board for the term of July 1st, 2019 through June 30th of 2020.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes. Item number 15.
Item number 15 is a recommendation of Patrick Monger, County Engineer, to execute a contract for professional services between the Board and Heritage Land Services out of Dublin, Ohio. This is for project number MI-0817, relative to the acquisition of easements for the Deerfield Road Site Distance Improvement Project located in Miami Township, in accordance with the scope of services identified in Exhibit A attached thereto and made part thereof, for a total amount not to exceed $5,290, with said services to be completed within 120 consecutive calendar days upon issuance of written notice to proceed from the engineer's office, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions, and this is contingent upon the release of a purchase order.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes. Item number 16.
Gary Bryant, Court Administrator for Juvenile Court. A recommendation of Judge James A. Shriver, Clermont County Juvenile Court, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute Amendment Number 1 to the Ohio Department of Youth Services Juvenile Court Grant Agreement and Funding Application by and between the Board of Clermont County Commissioners and the State of Ohio Department of Youth Services on behalf of the Clermont County Juvenile Court for Reclaim Ohio Grant Subsidy Program and Youth Services Grant Subsidy Program for fiscal year 2019, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on June 25, 2018, for the realignment of funds, which represents a decrease in the amount of $17,771.50 to the overall program cost as more fully set forth therein, and in addition reflects a decrease in the amount of $15,191 to the original total program cost of $1,581,753.42 to the revised total program cost of $1,566,562.42, as stated in a letter from the Ohio Department of Youth Services to the Clermont County Juvenile Court dated August 22, 2018, relative thereto. So this is a lot of numbers, but this is a reclaim grant that funds our probation department. And we do the grant agreement around June. It goes into effect July 1st. So this amendment just realigns all the funds to get our actual carryovers or actual allocations for the year.
Okay. Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes. Item number 17.
Recommendation of Judge James A. Shriver, Clermont County Juvenile Court, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to execute Amendment Number 2 to the contract for residential treatment services by and between the Boards of County Commissioners of Ohio Counties of Warren and Clermont and the Juvenile Divisions of Court of Common Pleas of Warren and Clermont through their respective judges for male juvenile offenders at the Mary Haven Youth Center, a division of Warren County Probate Juvenile Court, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on July 12, 2017, and subsequently amended on June 25, 2018, for participation in the Responsibility Pathways Program at a rate of $140 per day per bed if space is available, effective for the period of July 1, 2019 through June 30, 2020, with all other terms and conditions of the original contract and amendment thereto to remain in full force and effect.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes. Item number 18.
One more. Recommendation of Judge James A. Shriver, Clermont County Juvenile Court, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to execute Amendment Number 4 to the contract for detention services by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, by and through the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and the Judge of the Clermont County Juvenile Court and the County of Clinton, Ohio, by and through the Board of County Commissioners of Clinton County, Ohio, and the Judge of the Clinton County Juvenile Court for the allocation of beds for juvenile offenders at the Clermont County Juvenile Detention Center at a rate of $95 per diem per bed if space is available, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on August 26, 2015, and subsequently amended 3 times, which amends Article Number 2 of the contract for detention services to provide for the extension thereof from July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, with all other terms and conditions of the original contract and amendments thereto to remain in full force and effect.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 18. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 19.
Item 19 is a recommendation of Tom Steigel, County Administrator, to execute an extension of contract for services with Greater Cincinnati Behavioral Health Services out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And this is for the operation of a community alternative sentencing center for Clermont County pursuant to Section 307.932 of the Ohio Revised Code. This was previously ratified by the board on May 30th of 2018. This extension represents the first of 4 additional one-year renewal options pursuant to Section 3 of the contract. This will be in an amount not to exceed $665,228, effective for the period of June 1st, 2019 through June 2nd, 2020. All other terms and conditions of the original contract remain in full force and effect, as well as the inclusion of a termination clause as it relates to the receipt of Year 2 state opioid response local project funding from the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board as defined thereon, and contingent upon the release of a purchase order.
Board, you've heard the reading of number 19 to extend the contract for the CAS Center operation. Do I have a motion for approval?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 20.
Item 20 is a recommendation to execute Amendment Number 2 to the contract for services between the county and Millennium Business Systems out of Cincinnati. This was previously ratified on May 9th of 2018, subsequently amended on August 8th of 2018. This is for the replacement, maintenance, and repair of the copy machines within the county. This modification represents a replacement of certain equipment that was in it. We're actually adding additional copiers for water resources, common pleas adult probation, and the county sheriff's office. And we're going to add facilities maintenance department as another department to receive a copier. And these are all identified in Exhibit A and made part thereof.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 20. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 21. Morning, Mary Raines.
Mary Raines from ONB. And item 21 is a recommendation to authorize the clerk of the board to publish the notice of public hearing for the fiscal year 2020 tax budget in the Clermont Sun on Thursday, June 6th. The hearing will be held here in the Commissioner's office on Wednesday, June 19th at 10 a.m. local time to receive comments. It will also, effective June 14th, God willing, and the river don't rise. It will be published for public inspection. It'll be available at the auditor's office. It'll be available on the Board of County Commissioners website at bcc.clermontcountyohio.gov. And we also have an email address that is active for the tax budget period. It's called bccbudget@clermontcountyohio.gov to receive any comments from the public.
If God isn't willing and the river does rise, we'll bring those folks up from the southern part of the county.
There you go.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 21. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 22.
Item 22 is a request to increase the annual appropriation for 2019 in the Juvenile Court Special Projects Fund for $2,000 for a temporary employee for the summer and $500 for the fridges regarding that employee.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 22. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. We have finished with the regular agenda, and we'll move on for additions to the agenda. I am only aware of one. Is that correct?
We have Julia Carney here with the Board of Elections to explain the one add-on.
Let me go ahead and find the will of the board here. I have a request for an add-on for Clermont County Board of Elections execution of a sales order agreement. Do I have a motion to add this to the regular agenda?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. Conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. We have added the item to the agenda, so I'll go ahead and read the item formally. Recommendation of Raymond W. Lemke, Chairman of Clermont County Board of Elections, with the concurrence of Suki Sheet, Assistant County Administrator, to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute a sales order agreement with Election System and Software, ES&S, 11208 John Galt Boulevard, Omaha, Nebraska, 68137 for the purchase, installation, and training for new voter system equipment for the County of Clermont, Ohio, as fully described herein, and in conjunction with the contract number OT 902619-3 at a cost not to exceed $713,473, pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth therein and in compliance with Section 3506.03 of the Ohio Revised Code, which includes extended hardware warranty maintenance and software license maintenance and support is further defined in pages 1 through 9 of Exhibit A, attachment thereto and made a part thereof, with the aforestated costs therefore to be reimbursed by the Ohio Secretary of State in concert with the 2018 amended substitute Senate Bill 135 of the 132nd Ohio General Assembly, and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order in concert with requisition number 0003555-00 dated 5/16/2019 relative thereof. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further conversation or discussion?
She's standing
Julia?
there.
I'm
Let us-
just going
let
to
us
tell
tell
you
us
what
something.
we were buying. So, as you're aware, the state recently reimbursed the county over $1 million for equipment that we had purchased in 2015. As part of the original allocation from the state, it was about $1.7 million. So we have a little over $715,000 to spend. So the Board of Elections recommended the purchase of 155 what they call express votes. They are touchscreen voting equipment that are ADA compliant, so they have headphones and they will speak in Braille and things like that. And then they print a ballot that is put into the regular scanner with the other ballots. And these actually could be used by anyone. They're not just for people with disabilities. We are purchasing those. We are also purchasing another high-speed scanner, so we have a backup, or if it's a smaller election, we want to use it for that. We are also getting a ballot on demand system, which is going to save the county money immediately because we have to print so many ballots for each election, particularly absentee. We end up throwing a lot of ballots away. This way, when someone comes in to vote, we will go ahead and print their specific precinct ballot and give it to them at that time. So that will save us money right off the bat. And then we're just getting some servers and some new software to go with this equipment. So that's what the purchase will be.
It is very important to be ADA compliant and allow
It is. And we
persons
also
with
want
disabilities to be able to
vote and
Yes.
exercise their rights, correct. And these are replacing older units that are heavy to move. These are going to be more that you can put in like a backpack kind of bag and carry. So it'll be easier for our poll workers to transport them as well.
Very good.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
And, you know, on behalf of this board and on behalf of the citizens of Clermont County, I mean, the Board of Elections does an excellent job when it comes to, you know, managing our elections and making sure that everyone has access to the polls and is well informed. So, Julia, Chris, thanks for all that you do.
Thank you for your support.
We were very lucky with CCAO to come forward and say, okay, we got ahead of this a little bit and spent our money.
Yes.
And can we be reimbursed? And CCAO stood up for us and allowed us to be reimbursed. So I think that's something to be mentioned as well.
Yes.
Yes. And I think it was wonderful that we were ahead, but I was worried about the reimbursement piece. So
Yes, the Ohio Association of Election Officials also was pushing for reimbursement for approximately 10 counties who were ahead of the curve and had updated their equipment already.
Yes.
It also speaks volume as to what is important at our Ohio House of Representatives and also at the Senate. So,
Yes.
excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If no further conversation or discussion, roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. And Suki, does that conclude our agenda for today?
That is the last item on the agenda.
Should we move into executive session, or should we take a recess until 11 o'clock and proceed with the public hearings? Is there time for?
I believe we can get executive session in the 15 minutes. 14,
Okay, then
14, 13, 12.
I would move to item number I, executive session. Requesting an executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to confer with the prosecuting attorney regarding pending or imminent litigation. Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
I make that motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. We will move into executive session. We will return and we will conduct further business.
Yes.
We are back from executive session. There were no decisions made, and we will move on with our agenda. I am going to move over J and K since we are at 11 a.m. and we have public hearings scheduled. So I would like to officially call a public hearing. We are here today. This is the date, the time, and the location for a public hearing on petitions for annexation of real property situated within Williamsburg Township to the Village of Williamsburg pursuant to Section 709.02 of the Ohio Revised Code. I understand there are 5 petitions. I'll go over those 5 very quickly. Petition for annexation of .4591 acres comprising of parcel identification number 524441.007 owned by Douglas Durham and Cynthia Durham. A petition for annexation of .94 acres comprising of parcel identification number 523504E044 owned by John J. Wendell and Michelle M. Wendell. A petition for annexation of 1.0847 acres comprising of parcel identification numbers 523509C099, 523509C100, and 523509C101, 523509C097 owned by Deborah Ann Gabbard and Mary Hanawalt, Frank G. Pittman, and Chelsea D. Lovett, and Tyler Jean Davis. Item number 4, a petition for annexation of 3.7146 acres, comprising all of the parcel identification numbers 523504E068 and 523504E069, owned by Christopher D. Raby. And item 5, a petition for annexation of 3.9958 acres, comprising all of the parcel identification numbers 523509H017A and 523509H017B, owned by Verna L. Gaki and trustee and H.D. Milton Associates. I understand that we're going to take all 5 parcels together. Is that correct, in one public meeting?
Actually, I think Mike Menier, the attorney for the agent for the petitioner, Susan Ellenhurst, who's the township administrator for the Village of Williamsburg, is going to do an overview. But first, I have Alan Edwards, assistant prosecuting attorney, here to offer the oath of office to anyone who is going to give testimony that would be required to have that oath of office.
And prior to that, I just ask that anyone that's present that's not signed in to ask them to do that. If you haven't signed in, there is a sign-in sheet right here at the front door. And with that, Alan, I would ask that you swear those in who are about to give testimony pertaining to this annexation.
Anyone who anticipates giving any testimony in any of the petitions, would you please rise and do you solemnly
With it.
And then I was going to say, Mr. Manier is here and he will address the board with an overview of the 5 petitions.
Mr. Manier, if you take the podium, sir, we'd
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Need that too. Morning.
Morning.
My name is Mike Manier, 626 Main Street, Milford, Ohio, 45150. I am here on behalf of my client, Susan Elhorst, who is the agent for the petitioner. Susan is also the village administrator for the village of Williamsburg. I'm also here is the mayor, Mary Ann Lefker, and the physical officer, Mike Murray. Before I get started, I'd just like to commend to you Alan Edwards. My dealings with Alan have always been, he's always exhibited to me the highest ethical and professional standards. You're very fortunate to have him as your attorney. I've prepared a statement here which I'm going to read from, and then I'm going to submit it to be part of the record. There are 5 separate 100% owner annexations, so they are to be considered individually and separately, although what I'm about to say will apply to all 5. Section 709.033 of the Ohio Revised Code sets forth 6 conditions which must be met in order for the board to grant an annexation. 4 of those conditions are technical, and all 4 of those conditions have been met. The other 2 conditions are the only areas in which the board can exercise its discretion. They are set forth in Revised Code 709.033A4 and A5, and I'm going to read those verbatim. 709.033A4, the territory proposed to be annexed is not unreasonably large. A5, on balance, the general good of the territory proposed to be annexed will be served, and the benefits to the territory proposed to be annexed and the surrounding area will outweigh the detriments to the territory proposed to be annexed and the surrounding area if the annexation is granted. As used in Division 5 of this section, surrounding area means the territory within the unincorporated area of any township located 1/2 mile or less from any of the territory proposed to be annexed. The terms general good and unreasonably large are both words of art, and they're defined by reference to the case law. So the board doesn't have to do any kind of guesswork as what unreasonably large and general good means. The 5 acres taken together total less than 9.5 acres, so it's ludicrous to even go into whether or not this annexation is unreasonably large. So then it comes down to what is in the general good. The general good includes both the desires of the property owners and the ability of the village to provide adequate services to the annexed territory. As required by Ohio Revised Code 709.03D, the village passed a service ordinance indicating what services the village would be providing to the properties upon annexation. You have that service ordinance in front of you, and it has to be filed with the board. And that service ordinance indicates what services the village will be providing to the property owners to be annexed. And the mayor will briefly go into what services the village will be providing. Some of these services are already available to the property owners, but some of them will be newly acquired services upon the annexation. Among the most important services to the owners is their continued access to the village's water and sewer system. As a matter of fact, each one of these owners signed a pre-annexation agreement where they agreed to be annexed to the village, and they also, in exchange, consideration, among other things, that they would be permitted to continue to access the village's water and sewer. So this is of utmost importance to these owners of the annexation because their ability to continue to receive the water and sewer services of the village may be threatened if this annexation is not granted. All the owners also signed and filed with the board affidavits stating their desire to be annexed and why they think it is best, in their best interest of their respective properties, to be part of the village of Williamsburg. Those affidavits are in front of you. They were filed with the board as required by law. In addition, the village agreed in its service ordinance to assume the maintenance of any street, road, or highway that may be divided or segmented as a result of the annexation. It is very important to point out that is all the law requires. The statute does not require any type of road maintenance agreement between the village of Williamsburg, ODOT, the county, or the township. In the service ordinance, the village pledges that if any road or highway is segmented or divided, that they will assume responsibility to maintain that segmentation or division. That's all the statute requires. This board cannot put any more onus on them to do that other than what they've already agreed to do. The seminal annexation law in Ohio are the cases City of Middletown versus McGee and Smith versus Granville Township Board of Trustees. The citations are in my prepared statement. You can access them from that. In these cases, the Ohio Supreme Court reiterated and emphasized that it has been a long-standing policy in Ohio to encourage annexation by municipalities adjacent territory. Both these cases were decided by the Ohio Supreme Court in 1998, and they're still good law. They are cited by almost every annexation case that has been decided afterwards. That's why they're considered seminal. And even when the SB 5, I believe it was, made some changes to the annexation law several years back, this is still good case law, and it's the Supreme Court of Ohio telling us this. The spirit and intent of that policy to encourage annexation is to give property owners the freedom of choice as to which governmental subdivision in which they desire their property to be located. And this is especially true in 100% annexations, which we have here. It is clear that the village of Williamsburg can more than adequately service the territories upon annexation, and that the annexation will not have any adverse impact on the area to be annexed or the surrounding 1/2 mile. It was pointed out by Alan before the meeting started that there may be some issue regarding creation of an island. In one instance, he'd have to elaborate on which property we're talking about. But creation of an island, as the Supreme Court has said, is not in and of itself a reason that the board can turn down an annexation. There has to be a showing that that creation of the island had no basis and rationale to create that island. And again, Alan's much aware, if not more so, of the case law regarding that than I am, and he can expound on that for you. But if there are islands corrected, these islands are not going to adversely impact the property to be annexed or the surrounding territory. And I just want to emphasize and reiterate once more that this annexation is crucial to the property owners seeking annexation. It's a 100% annexations. Their continued ability to access village services will depend on you granting the annexation. Therefore, on behalf of my client and the village, we therefore respectfully request that the board grant all 5 of the petitions for annexation. Are there any questions?
Board, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask Mary Ann to come forward and speak if she would, please.
Alan, does Mary Ann need to be sworn in? Okay.
Susan, can I have her stand up and please?
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Hi.
Just a brief statement. Everything that Mike said, the legal part of this is accurate to the best of all our knowledge. I do want you all to know that we have communicated with our trustees over time about this issue and others. And in this particular case, part of, not all of these parcels, but some of these parcels between all of us, the village and the township, there have been zoning issues that we were not able to handle in a way that we would if in fact they were 100% village in control. So it's not just a case of one thing or other, it's multiples. We've heard no objections from our trustees in regard to what we're doing here, and I just wanted to let you all know that.
Just for the record, could you state your name and?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Mary Ann Lefker. I'm mayor of the village of Williamsburg.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have.
Okay.
We have Craig Reisner here from the county engineer's office with his report on all 5 of the annexations that he will read into the record.
Okay. Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
Craig Reisner, County Engineer's Office. So here's my stack of reports. I guess we'll just begin blasting through them. The Durham annexation, 0.4591 acres of land to the village of Williamsburg. Per request, I viewed the plat and description.
Craig, you hold up just for the board's edification. What you have in front of you there is that overview drawing that you have all 5 annexations overview, general presentation, and underneath each annexation that he's going to discuss.
In sequential order.
Correct.
Hopefully,
Go ahead.
sequential
Sorry
order.
about that.
They are in sequential order.
They are. Thank you.
Before we start talking about acreages, the existing village is approximately 1,600 acres. Just to give some information. The Durham annexation, 0.4591 acres of land owned by Douglas and Cynthia Durham. The board has asked the engineer to review the plat and description. The legal description and the plat provided are accurate for annexation purposes. The proposed annexation has a 52% common boundary with the village of Williamsburg. And in this case, no street or highway shall be divided as to create a maintenance problem by this proposed annexation. The second is the Wendell annexation. Annexation of 0.9411 acres of land to the village of Williamsburg, owned by John and Michelle Wendell. The proposed annexation has a 100% common boundary line with the village of Williamsburg. So this is an existing island of township within the village. So this annexation will correct that. Legal description and the plat provided is complete and accurate for annexation purposes. No street or highway shall be divided as to create a maintenance problem by this proposed annexation. We do have a slight spelling correction on the plat. An owner name has a misspelling, and we're going to call for that to be corrected when the Mylar is provided by the applicant. What I've been calling the Davis annexation. It's on 3rd Street in the village. It's an annexation of 1.0847 acres, and the property is owned by Davis, Pittman, Lovett, Hannawalt, and Gabbert. This proposed annexation also is 100% common boundary, so it is an existing township island within the village. So this annexation will correct that island. The legal description and the plat provided are complete and accurate for the annexation, and no street or highway shall be divided as to create a maintenance problem by this proposed annexation. So that's what I was calling the Davis annexation, 1.08 acres located on 3rd Street.
And it comprises 4 parcels.
That's correct. It's 4 parcels and 4 separate property owners.
5.
Yeah, that's correct. 5.
Can I take you back to the name correction, please, on number 2? Wendell.
Yeah.
There is none. Is it correct?
On the plat provided by the surveyor, there was a spelling error on the owner's name.
What is? What
Is it an A or an E? Is it Michelle's name?
On the survey plat provided, it says Windell, Windell.
And it's W-E?
And they signed it as W-E.
It is W-E. Thank you.
And that they provide a paper copy, and at the conclusion, if the annexations are approved by the board, the applicant will be required to provide a Mylar copy. And we're just asking that that be corrected when the Mylar copy is provided.
Great. Thank you.
All right, I believe we are on to the Raby annexation. It's on 133, heading south out of town. Annexation of 3.7146 acres of land. Per your request, I have reviewed the plat and description, owned by Christopher Raby. The proposed annexation has a 40% common boundary with the village of Williamsburg. The legal description and plat provided are complete and accurate for annexation purposes. So this proposed annexation will create an island. There are 3 parcels that will remain in the township, surrounded by village if this annexation is approved. The proposed annexation will also segment or divide 419 feet. Oh, there's a typo there. Of State Route 133. So this one has will be creating an island and also segmenting a public road. And the 5th annexation, I've been calling the Milton Annex. Annexation of 3.9958 acres. Per your request, I reviewed the plat and description. Property owned by H.D. Milton Associates and Verna Gecki. This proposed annexation is a 69% common boundary with the village of Williamsburg. The legal description and plat provided are complete and accurate. And this proposed annexation will also create an island. It is an island in existence today, and the annexation is annexing a portion of that island, which will have a remaining island. In my report, I was hoping to amend the description to remove the island completely. And apparently that would have required an entirely new application.
Because they were adding to the annexation.
Right, because the annexation acreage was going to increase. So the applicant decided to continue with the application as they submitted it. So we have an existing island, and they're going to annex. They're requesting to annex a portion of the island, which will still cause some of the township to be surrounded by buildings.
The island will get smaller.
The island will get smaller. That's correct. That's correct. And that is the fifth annexation. Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll take each one of them one at a time for proponent or opponent testimony.
I would first like to add to the record that we have received the reports of the Department of Community and Economic Development, as well as the certification of the ownership from the County Auditor's Office as it relates to each of the annexation petitions.
Okay. So is there anyone here today who would like to speak as a proponent for the Durham annexation of the .4591 acres? Anyone in opposition? Okay. We'll move to the Wendell annexation. Is anyone here to speak for or against the Wendell annexation? And I believe you referred to the Davis annexation. That is Gabbard Davis annexation. Is there anyone here who would speak as a proponent for that annexation? Anyone opposed? Okay. And the Raby annexation, anyone for or against to speak? And then the last, the Milton annexation. Anyone here for or against that would like to speak in this public meeting? Judy, I would ask on those 5 annexations, have you received any additional correspondence or notices?
No notifications, no verbal, oral, or written notifications, no, and nothing from the Board of Williamsburg Township Committee notified of the acknowledgement of the 5 petitions and the date, time, and location of the public hearing.
It's my understanding that after this public hearing, there's obviously a wait period?
Within 30 days of this public hearing, pursuant to 709.033 of the Ohio Revised Code, the Board of County Commissioners will either grant and or deny the annexations accordingly. And I would look for that time frame to be the 26th of June for disposition, for it is the last regular session of the Board of County Commissioners within the 30-day period thereof.
Okay. And before I move to request closing this public hearing, are there any additional comments that would pertain to any of these 5 annexations?
You have anything, Ellen? Ellen.
Yes, I would just clarify, since it was mentioned on the island issue, and typically I would just put this in my opinion, but since it was brought up, I think the words that are used just so are unreasonable, illogical, and arbitrary, or something of that effect, as for a means of rejection when you have an island in the petition. So that would be the standard that I think the board would need to utilize in that case.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
Nicole, you have anything at the end? Wrap up?
Never ask an attorney if they have anything to say.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No, just briefly. There is a rationale for the creation of these islands. The rationale, it's not arbitrary, capricious. Those are words of art. The rationale is the property be annexed, have to be annexed. That's the rationale. Plus, there is no showing here today of any detriment to the property owners part of the island. And the board is not permitted to infer any detriment. there has to be actual testimony or documentation indicating that the property part of the island is going to suffer some kind of detriment or adverse impact. So again, I want to thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Anything else? Then I would declare this public meeting duly closed. Is that correct?
Public hearing.
Public hearings, yes. Thank you all for attending today. And we will move back to item number J on the agenda. County staff elected or official discussions. Do we have anything scheduled today for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I'll move to item K for member comments. Board, any comments today?
No comments?
None.
And so then I would ask for a motion to adjourn the commissioners' meeting today.
So moved.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Judy?
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. And that concludes our meeting today for May the 29th, 2019. Thank you for attending.